What's up, guys? I find this really interesting. I was in an Uber ride the other day, and the dude driving was immediately like, "Hey, how's it going, man? How's your day?" And he was just interested in having a conversation. It was really nice. Like, very cool guy, very experienced person. So it was interesting to hear about like his travels around the world and just his thoughts on culture and stuff like that. But conversing with strangers, I always find this interesting because it's always going to be different depending on where you are or the context of the situation. In terms of like Uber, for example, that's the first thing. When I enter a car, usually the Uber driver will say, "Hey, how's your day?" And I'll usually respond, by giving them information about my day, and immediately I can tell, does this person, are they actually interested about my day, or are they just saying that because they feel like they have to and they don't really want to talk? So it's kind of like just sizing up, their mood and stuff. And sometimes the level of, there's a direct correlation between the level of volume of music and whether or not they want to talk. Usually the volume is pretty high if they don't want to talk. They kind of just want to move on. Because most of the times, if people actually want to talk, they'll lower the volume. But it is interesting. And in general, what I find is I don't cross boundaries. Meaning, if I'm giving parts of my day and they're not interested, sometimes I'll navigate to them just to play with it. I'll be like, "Hey, how was your day?" And sometimes that changes the vibe of the conversation. Now they are actually interested in talking about their day. But that's another, if you don't get much of a response to that too, like if they're like good and they just kind of want to move on, again, this person doesn't want to talk. There's three reasons why people don't usually want to talk. One, they're not interested. Two, there's a language barrier. I notice this sometimes with people, they have a pleasant vibe, but they just don't really know the language, so it's kind of difficult, or three, they're just maybe having not the best day, and they just are not wanting to talk. Some people I notice, at different work, school, just when I'm out and about in different scenarios, like I'll be friendly, and some people you immediately have a connection with, and it's really fun, and you could just talk, and it's so easy. And some people are really wanting to have conversations, so they're looking to you to see your response. But sometimes people get kind of weary, kind of suspicious if you want to have a conversation with them sometimes. Like, what do you want from me? Like, what's your agenda? Because I think a lot of times, especially being in the city, when people are trying to start conversations, there is a demographic of people that are, have some sort of agenda, are trying to get something from you. And, people, they get used to that. And then when, someone is, just talking for the sake of talking, it's actually sort of novel because they're not used to that. So that's a whole thing. But yeah, for me, it's always a con. I always size up the context, or I always size up each situation, because I refuse to be that guy who's talking even if somebody else doesn't want to talk. Like, I'm never going to put someone in that position. But at the same time, if somebody actually does want to talk and maybe they're a little shy or they don't know how to go about it, like, that there's always an opportunity for conversation. That you don't have to be so afraid, of having conversation with somebody you don't know. So it's really, for me, I just found it's really about like sizing up each situation. And that's pretty much it. I've met some interesting people. Like I said, like on public transportation, had some really, really deep conversations within 20 minutes or 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. And then I never see this person again. you know, and it's just interesting, but it's still a fulfilling conversation. Doesn't mean that it wasn't a good experience. So anyway, cool beans, guys. Peace. Have a good one.